teams won that trade, disposing of two like not problematic or disgruntled stars, no, but really talented, no. I think both won also depending on the time frame. Okay, the Sixers can win now with pairing Harden with Embiid. Definitely superpower, very difficult to stop offensively. But I think there are going to be questions in the future with Harden's history of bailing out on teams when things don't go well. And for the Nets, I think they can also win now.
Yeah.
And especially when you have someone in KD on your team, you can always win. And with the pieces that they've got, with the 2 first-rounders and Seth Curry, Andre Drummond providing stability in their position, but it gives them insurance also for Harden's departure, maybe Kyrie in the future. Who knows?
Yeah. I actually have a thought here. I don't know if you would agree with me, Larry, but I actually believe that both these teams got better after this trade and are now even stronger contenders in the East. Do you agree with yung idea na yun?
I agree, Pao. And, these two guys, Harden and Simmons, in new environments that they are highly motivated and when they're really healthy, it's going to be scary for the East. And mas nahirapan lang yung road ng Milwaukee, Miami, and probably Cleveland because of these two moves.
I mean, yun nga, I wanted to touch on that, Larry. You mentioned Milwaukee, Cleveland, and of course, Miami Heat. These guys were favorites. They were favorites until this point of the season. And now with this trade, you see the Nets and the 76ers. Do you think mas lamang na sila sa Milwaukee? Mas lamang na sila sa Miami Heat?
Ooh.
Or is it still the same? The kings of the East are still Miami and Milwaukee.
Ang hirap man ng tanong mo, Jet.
Ang hirap, Jet, no? And ang kagandahan ng NBA, pare, no? These trade deadlines, these moves in the that the NBA's nangyayari sa NBA, no? It really makes it very interesting for the season. Now, it looks like you're talking more about the East than the West. I mean, in the past, parang it's always the West na we're talking about. But now, the East, if you see the standings, it's really, really competitive from first to, ninth place?
Or 10th, yeah.
Yeah, so very, very interesting and exciting race ahead for all of us, for all the fans.
Yeah, you look at all of the trades here, and syempre, it's really interesting to see where the Nets are going from this point on in particular. Kasi si Kyrie Irving is only eligible to play in 8 more games for the remainder of the season. Sa palagay mo ba that having Ben Simmons there and the rest of the guards that they brought in, Seth Curry can also play the guard position, do you think that will cushion the blow for the Nets enough for them to be in a great position going into the playoffs?
The question is, when is Simmons going to play? I mean, I've been reading it's still unclear when he's going to play. Now, Kyrie only has 8 games remaining, and there's some urgency for the Nets, and they're in danger of actually missing the whole thing. I mean, they have to have some urgency at this point. I mean, it's good to have Simmons right there, but the question is, when is he going to play? Is he healthy enough?
I have another
Physically,
question
mentally?
for you, Larry. So, si Simmons, is he even going to play guard? Because people are saying he could be a 4 or a 5.
Ooh.
Very interesting.
Oh,
Very
diba?
interesting.
Dapat ako yung all-star writer dito, hindi si Jet.
Hindi ako. Oo. Kasugutin ko to. Larry, di ba? Would you agree?
I know.
Di ba?
Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni there. You know what Mike D'Antoni did with his Houston team, going small completely. So who knows? I mean, with him there, him revolutionizing the small ball game. It's not surprising if they put Simmons in the 4 or even 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can completely see that also. Pero Jet wants to talk about another team.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. So this is an interesting team. They were playing great throughout the season up to this point, but now they get Caris, LeVert for Ricky Rubio and future draft picks. How dangerous now does this make the Cavs in the East?
Oh, actually, this is my favorite movie. This is my favorite team.
Okay.
To be honest, no. Just looking at them, how they've overachieved, they're projected to win only 27 games. Mm-hmm. And now they're just destroying this small ball revolution, just going super big, but flexible and mobile at the same time. No? So I love how they're going old school, but really they also have other pieces to play small also and very versatile. Imagine Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, Markkanen, Garland, Okoro, Love, LeVert, Osman. imagine if Colin Sexton was there. I mean, how scary would this team be? Diba?
Yo, grabe.
You know, actually looking at that, syempre, if you look at the move, remember that Ricky Rubio was actually out for the season. So they were selling his contract and giving picks to buy essentially Caris LeVert. And with that move in particular, it feels like medyo win now move to para sa Cleveland. Eh. Do you feel that that's a team that we also have to consider as a championship contender right now, given the way nakakonstruct yung roster nila?
I feel they've signified their intentions of winning it now by getting LeVert. And I don't know if they gave up a lot for LeVert, but wow, that was such a great pickup. I don't think they lost a lot for getting him. But with their lineup, well, maybe the question is their youth lang, no? And maybe they haven't been in that deep in the playoffs since LeBron's time. No? So it will be interesting for them to see how far they would go. But definitely they have the pieces to contend and give these contenders, Miami, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Boston, Toronto, really a hard time in the playoffs.
And then we move on from winners to losers naman. Quote-unquote losers. Yeah, I can't say losers kasi we're going to talk about the Lakers. So you can't say that they are losers, Larry, on this show. Okay, but they failed to make a move at this point in the trade deadline despite their 26-31 record. They're 9th seed, but you think is this a wrap for their season? Did they pass up on opportunities to get them off that hump, or are they still contenders?
Hindi, hater lang si Jet.
Hindi, nakatingin talaga ako kailangan.
Okay, I have to change my script now because, you know, kung ganun pa rin yung rule dito na you can't speak negatively about Lakers, I might get in trouble. No. But realistically, when I don't know, look at the Lakers, do they really have options to make a good move at this time? I mean, are they stuck with their lineup? Obviously, we will never doubt LeBron James' capability. I mean, it's very dangerous to face LeBron in the playoffs, no matter what seed they're coming in. No? But it's probably also a matter of, you know, I don't know if other teams didn't also want to help the Lakers, make a deal with them. I don't know, just thinking about that. About how would you want to help LeBron? How would you want to help the Lakers? They're the defending champs, and parang kind of like want to avoid a deal with them. But realistically, their lineup, the construction of their lineup, I don't know, their salary cap. You know, they had the chance to get DeMar DeRozan over Westbrook, and I guess that was the best move they could have done before the season.
Yeah. Well, alam mo, there were actually reports about the potential move of Westbrook. Had he been moved, it would have been for John Wall and maybe a couple of other assets. But then again, it did not happen, and we would never have known whether or not Wall would have been an upgrade in terms of fit and in terms of everything that's going to happen. But we actually have two other teams to mention here. But then since we're running out of time, when you look at the Mavericks and the Trailblazers, do you think that the deadline left them as quote-unquote losers in this particular in that particular day, trade deadline day, or do you feel that right now it's just a matter of them reshuffling because they weren't even going to contend this year anyway?
I think they weren't even gonna contend this year. I mean, realistically, look at their lineup. I think they're still stuck in like, you know, for Portland, just, you know, kind of like a team that will make the playoffs, but really will not get that far. For Dallas, I mean, as good as Luka Doncic is, I don't think they'll still get far in the playoffs with this lineup. So I don't know if they couldn't get a better. I felt like for Dallas, they could have gotten more out of Porzingis now, but I guess teams didn't. You know, were afraid of his durability also, and you know, Dallas just wanted to move on from him.